Hello, and welcome back to Hold On, I'm Talking Brother. My name is Joe Greenwood, and you are listening to our preview of UFC Fight Night, Krylov versus Spann. That's right, Nikita Krylov versus Ryan Spann, Fight Night main event. Dana, thank you so much for the gruel. I can't get enough of this stuff. Thank you so much. Listeners, I'm joined by my regular co-host, Tom Ballum. And Tom, I'm going to ask you just a very simple question. How you doing?
I'm well, Joe.
Yeah.
I'm still on a big high. Not off of Erin Blanchfield announcing herself against Jessica Andrade, which I'm sure we're going to talk about. But off that continuing discussion about Makhachev and Volkanovski, worlds colliding, IVs being dripped.
Yeah.
There's so much going on there. It's fueling me. And you know what's around the corner, Joe?
Yeah.
Jon Jones is returning against Cyril Gane.
Yes, indeed. Now, this pod...
So give me the gruel. I will chew my way through it to get to the steak.
Listen, this pod here, we're just stretching. We're just stretching this week. We're stretching. We're getting ready for next week. We're getting ready for the big boy stuff, okay? We're just getting our stretches in before the marathon crossed with the 100-meter sprint that we're going to do next week. It's going to be incredible. But, Tom, let's talk about the fight that you just referenced there, Makhachev versus Volkanovski. I've watched it again. Tom, can I give you my score?
Is this the third watch through for you now?
Third watch.
Okay.
I've gone for a 48-47 Islam Makhachev. And to be honest, I feel a 49-46 more than a 48-47 for Volkanovski. That and listen, we'll get to it. We'll get to that again. We'll get to that again.
Statement.
We'll get to that again in October. Because did you see the video this week that came out of them chatting backstage and taking pictures with their teams?
I haven't seen that, no. I thought it was all bad blood.
No. This is directly after the fight. And Volkanovski, he said, should we do it again? And Makhachev's like, oh yeah, we'll do that again. And he was just like, and Volk says, do you want to do it in Abu Dhabi, in October? You came to my place, let's go to yours, because apparently Makhachev's from Abu Dhabi now. That's his hometown crowd. I guess they can't really run in Russia at the moment for obvious reasons. But I thought that was quite an interesting insight and kind of a bit of a tantalising tease what could be waiting for the rest of the year. I guess that tells us then, if they do that in October, they'll get a defence in each before setting up the rematch.
That's confidence right there, given the strength of the division, especially at lightweight. But
come on, fam.
But I think these guys earned the right to be confident. Yeah,
definitely. Now, we know who Volkanovski's opponent's going to be, which will be Yair Rodriguez, interim featherweight champion. Who is going to be facing Makhachev? Well, it's not going to be Beneil Dariush. We've gathered that. Who's it going to be, Tom? Who's he going to face the same night that Volkanovski faces Yair? Tell me who it's going to be, in June or July.
Well, we do have the Gaethje-Fiziev matchup coming up.
Yeah.
I think with a big performance there, could announce yourself. I think you're leaning us towards the soon-to-be Ultimate Fighter meet-up between Conor and Michael Chandler.
No, I'm leaning you towards Dustin Poirier. That's what I'm leaning you towards, Tom.
I don't want it.
No, I don't want it either. I want the winner of Fiziev versus Gaethje. Particularly if it's Fiziev. That would be... that'd be major.
I want Beneil Dariush.
Yeah, hold on. It should be Beneil Dariush. We'll talk about Dariush in a bit, but it should be Dariush. I don't even think Makhachev necessarily even gets through that fight. But, listeners, never mind those fights. Let's talk about this Saturday's main event.
Well, let's talk about somebody who hasn't earned the right to be so confident. You're about to say his name there, Joe. It's Ryan Spann.
Yeah.
Now, he finished his last fight saying he's going to start actually training. He's Superman. He thinks he's that good. Is he that good?
I mean, can we judge his career, really, from what's happened before, after the revelation that he only trained for 3 weeks at a time for each fight? And now he's apparently doing full camps and then knocking out Dom Reyes with a sort of lead left hook. Is this... Now, is it the fact that it's Dom Reyes now that makes it not impressive? Like, there's something that's just not that impressive about that win, is there?
Well, if it's true what that man is saying, he is still fighting a top tier, if not, at the very top, light heavyweight, a man who deserves to be ranked, a man who ran Jon Jones ever so close. Yeah, he's come off the boil a bit, but it's still Dom Reyes. He was dispatched brutally by Spann, as you described with that left hook. I think we have to take notice. The thing is, though, then you start to scrutinize it. You think, all right, Dom Reyes, Jon Kutalaba, Misha Serkinov. Is that a record to build such confidence of?
Probably not. But if you added a Nikita Krylov in there, his opponent for Saturday, then maybe you would start to take notice of Spann. I mean, Spann, no offense to the man, but he's been a long time punchline for me and you. Confirmed jabroni status for a long time. But seems to have turned it around maybe in our heads a bit, just with that finish of Reyes and the revelation of how much he didn't train. But I guess that kind of tells you that he is a jabroni because he didn't train properly before that.
Yeah, that is definite jabroni.
I mean, it kind of makes a mockery of the sport in a way, doesn't it?
It does. And honestly, Joe, come on, we don't believe that, do we? We don't believe that.
No, I don't believe it.
Now, I will say for Spann that, yes, I'm reluctant to be caught on the mic slamming the poor man now because he has had some pretty impressive finishes. I am uncomfortable about lambasting him. But Krylov, he could get me back to that happy place that I was in before because he is legit. He's a test.
Yeah.
I think we can say that. If you get past Nikita Krylov, unless your name is Paul Craig, then we should start taking you seriously. Because the men who have got past Nikita Krylov since he came into the UFC, Joe, it's a small line of fighters. The first one was Jan Blachowicz, who then went on to become the champion. The next one, do you know who it was, Joe? It was Glover Teixeira.
Yeah.
Of no small fame. And after that, Magomed and Kalaev. So these are men who have been in title fights. And yeah, Ryan Spann might find himself there too if he can get through this challenge. Now, what should we expect in the fight itself?
What I'm going to expect is that I'm expecting Ryan Spann to hit the gas immediately and just get on Krylov as early as possible. I'm expecting early onslaught, big shots being thrown, trying to get the action going immediately. Spann is really quite an active fighter in terms of his output. 1.76 submission attempts per 15 minutes. That's really quite high. Really quite high. That's a similar rate to Devison Figueiredo and Mackenzie Dern. It's a pretty high output there. But his striking output is not that impressive. That's the thing that gets me, is that it's so he lands at 3.42 per minute and he absorbs at 3.42 per minute. It's almost shot for shot, and his accuracy is very low, below 50%, whereas Krylov has a positive differential, so his defense is higher and his accuracy is higher and his output is a full strike per minute higher. So I'm thinking, if I'm Spann, I have to start this fight quickly and try and get him out there in this first round, because I think the longer it goes, the better it goes for Krylov. Having said that, though, Krylov is a man who, he's gone to a decision 4 times in his last 12 fights. And
when he came into the UFC, Joe, he was known as a finisher. It was all finishes up to that point.
Yeah.
So until the year 2018, Krylov had finished every single opponent he had faced, or been finished by them. Some 20 fights into his career. So he's lost that rotation. He's been going to plodding decisions, but he keeps a high output.
Yeah. Like a lot of long kicks to the body tends to be his thing, the lead leg to the body. I think also the thing with those decisions is that the caliber's a bit different. Glover Ankalaev, Özdemir even. Like, this isn't, Maro Perak or Emmanuel Newton, or Ed Herman. This is a different sort of quality. And do you really believe Ryan Spann is of that quality? I mean, if Spann finishes him, then maybe he's starting to get there. But I kind of feel like he's probably not, Tom. Like, just saying. This is one of these main events. It's just like the UFC have clearly set a line now with the Apex, which is this is what you're getting in the Apex. Like it or lump it, and then when we put it in front of a crowd, we'll give you something good, like on a fight night. Like you're getting Arnold Allen versus Max Holloway in April in front of a crowd. That's clearly a line that they've sort of set there. Whereas your heavyweight, light heavyweight main events, you're getting in the Apex, mate. I don't know.
So it sounds like the UFC have confirmed Ryan Spann's jabroni status. We have, at the same time that we've been unsure. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like we're not excited for it, but it's a legitimate fight. It's an interesting matchup. It's 6 versus 8. Now, if Spann goes out there and blows Krylov away, you have to take notice of that.
Yeah, of course. And then you're looking further at the rankings to a rematch with... Well, actually, Anthony Smith has his next fight book, which is Johnny Walker. Fight night main event, which that's dicey territory now with this new reborn Mr. Walker, isn't it? It's not the same man as before. So what are you looking at then? Maybe a Rakic when he comes back?
I feel like I think that's the territory you're in now. Rakic is a step up again.
Hold on, if Rakic faces either of these guys, you're not picking anyone but Rakic, are you?
I don't know, if Spann went and absolutely smoked Krylov here, I would start putting serious options on the table.
Really?
Just because of how emphatic that finish was over Dom Reyes. That counts. I took notice. Jon Kutalaba, not so much, but Dom Reyes in the first round.
Yeah, I mean, these are the guys that are ahead of Krylov. You've got Anthony Smith, Alexander Rakic, Jan Blachowicz, Magomed Ankalaev, Yuri Prochazka. Ankalaev and Blachowicz are kind of just sitting there waiting for an opponent. Like, whoever wins this fight is getting that. Like, you're getting Ankalaev, Blachowicz, or Rakic. Like, that's your reward. And you've earned it. I just... Like, what? Ankalaev versus Spann? I mean... I'm struggling to see... Even if he blows Krylov away... Like, he's probably thinking, oh, give me Blachowicz out of those three. You know what I mean? Like, slightly slower target, a bit more of a easier target to aim for. Anyway, Tom, we've besmirched these men even in praising them. Let's make a prediction here. Let's make a prediction. What do you have in here, Tom?
I have to say, logic prevails. I think Krylov is just the all-round package, the durability, the fitness in the later rounds, the volume. He really weighs on people as well. Now, Spann, to me, he's an explosive fighter. That really gets drained away if you are able to go to the later rounds. And I think that's what Krylov will be able to do, grinding out a decision win.
I think this is going to be 25-minute fights within the space of 7 minutes. I'm expecting slop. I'm expecting all action all the time. And I think Krylov will get the better of Spann just by draining him of any energy. Those kicks to the body. Also, as you say, weighing on him, particularly in the clinch, does that thing of putting his forearm across the throat and pressing them up against the cage, just really just irritating movements to get people tired and fighting things. You start to fight that hand and then a knee comes up to the body from there. Krylov is really good at sort of picking the right option from the range that he's in. So he wouldn't throw a knee up high from there. It's okay, my knee can get to the body from here, so I'll send it there. Do you know what I mean? Or I'm at range here, I'm going to throw a leg kick from here. I'm going to throw a 1-2 combo from here. I'm going to throw the body jab from this distance. He's quite good at that. So that's why I'm going to go for him over Spann. As you say, the experience in going the distance as well. Against previous better opponents as well.
He's that guy where, he's that kid on the football pitch where, all right, you get the best of him once and you feel good about it, and then, you feel a tap on his shoulder and he's still there, Joe.
Yeah.
He's still there. He's still clinging on. He's
Yeah.
not tired. He's not deterred.
No.
And before you know it, you don't want to skin him anymore. You just start passing
Yeah,
the
exactly.
ball away. And that's the fate for Ryan Spann here.
Yes.
Now, Joe, what else should the listeners look forward to on this Fight Night card?
I think there are 3 fights that I think are of particular interest. I'm not going to mention your boy Jordan Levitt. You can bring that up in a bit. But let's talk about... You know what? Joe's Women's MMA Corner. I'm going to bring it back. Tatiana Suarez is back, fighting now at flyweight after a 3-year absence? 3-4-year absence? When did she last fight? She last fought in 2019, sorry. Nearly a 4-year absence she's been away. She's back facing Montana De La Rosa. Suarez is 8-0, but what makes this so interesting is that she's probably the most well-decorated wrestler in women's MMA. Olympic team level, world champion gold medalist in freestyle wrestling, and has used that to her advantage in the UFC so far. She was really big for strawweight. I think flyweight is the natural division for her. She's had a lot of past issues, a lot of issues with her neck that she's had to deal with. She, even in her younger life, had to deal with cancer, overcame that, and has subsequently come on to have a very impressive career. So yeah, I'm expecting a good comeback win here for Tatiana Suarez over Montana De La Rosa. I'm expecting probably a first round finish. I don't think De La Rosa has the ability or skill to keep Suarez off of her. Or, Tom, are we going to get, this person's been away for 4 years, they're about to get smoked?
Would you like to hear my input on Montana De La Rosa?
Go for it.
Well, until 5 minutes ago, I thought this was the inaugural, was it flyweight champ, who had a name similar to Montana. Who was that lady who showed up for one fight and then they booked her against Shevchenko, and it was like, all right, it turns out I don't want to be a fighter.
Oh, God. Oh, that's a good one. I'm going to have to look up Valentina Shevchenko to find who that was.
Yeah, well, it turns out it wasn't this woman. So, yeah, that's where the kind of bracket I'm putting her in.
Nico Montana?
Yes. So Montana was in the name. It's not the same one, though, right, Joe?
No, hold on. No. She won the title. Hold on. No. She beat Priscilla Cachoeira.
She came off the start of the. They had an Ultimate Fighter to crown the inaugural belt holder, and then they were like, okay, now you're gonna have to fight someone real, and that woman shirked the fight. Anyway, it wasn't this lady.
It was Nico Montana.
It
was Nico Montana.
Yeah,
she ducked it, and then Shevchenko beat Joanna Jędrzejczyk for the vacant title.
That's it.
Sorry.
But it turns out it's not the same lady, and all I have to say about her. So I will concur with you, Joe. Tatiana Suarez for the win.
Bro, listen to this. Takedowns average per 15 minutes for Suarez, 6.47. That's like Colby Covington level. Like, that's a lot, man. That's a lot of takedowns. Oof. Yeah. So I think,
I honestly,
win.
In women's MMA, a solid wrestler can go very, very far, even if they're limited in all other aspects, as we've seen with Carla Esparza, who Tatiana Suarez beat.
Yeah.
So, really the ceiling is as high as can be imagined. There is no limit to Tatiana Suarez.
Yeah, this is like this was probably like, when like Randy Couture was sort of like making his sort of run, or like GSP, where it's just like, GSP, mate, you got to face Dan Hardy. No worries, mate, I've got it. Like, I've got it sorted. That's Tatiana Suarez versus every women's fighter. So,
yeah, absolutely. So I hope, it'd be nice to get some new injection women's flyweight. And the odds makers on this one, Joe, they've got her as a minus 750 favourite. Crushing favourite.
What's standing out to you?
Not a whole lot, Joe. I'll be honest with you. It's a lot of gruel. I always like myself a little bit of Joe Selecki. He's down on the prelims. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's down on the prelims, fighting a man with the shape of Robbie Lawler, called Carl Deaton. So that's kind of bumming me out a little bit. You got Rafael Alves. He's also fighting another Robbie Lawler-esque figure, according to the UFC Fight Night main page.
Narulo
and Charles
Aliev.
Johnson.
Yes, Narulo Aliev is Alves' opponent.
Can you tell us more about Narulo Aliev?
He won on the Contender Series late last year against a guy called Josh Wick. First round finish by ground and pound. Every other win he's had in MMA has been from decision, except for his third fight, which was stopped by a corner stoppage in between the second and the third round for a company called Battle on Volga. So, don't want to know their politics. Let's move on.
Well, you mentioned the politics. We didn't talk about it when we were giving our main event breakdown, but Nikita Krylov. Shall we talk about that?
I don't know. What happened?
Well, he is from Donetsk. The origin of his name is in honor of the many miners found in that region. Yeah. He's pretty out there and ardent about, supporting the current state of affairs.
What do you mean?
He's in favour of the Russian occupation.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
He got himself in hot water in Kiev in the last year because he had a Russian flag up in the gym in Kiev.
Really?
He's since been forced out and relocated to Moscow. So,
oh my word! I had no idea.
Incendiary stuff.
My word! Oh, let's go Ryan Spann. No, I don't really care that much. Well, I do, but I don't care that much for Ryan Spann to win.
Yeah,
you know
that's a step too far.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, when I look down this card, Joe, I also look at Augusto Sakai. I look at Andre Muniz.
Yeah, Andre Muniz. Come on, man.
Yeah, there's plenty to get excited about. It's just the matchups themselves.
It's
a shame. Wasted.
Yeah, it's Andre Muniz versus Brendan Allen. Brendan Allen's fine. He's got a nice 3-fight win streak. Sam Alvey, Jacob Malkoun, Christoph Jotko, but Muniz should be. Should we looking at rankings now? Like a Hermansson? I mean, he's at number 11. He's number 11. He's fighting someone who's unranked. What about Muniz versus Vettori? That would be a fight. That would be a fight I'd like to see.
Yeah, that's the kind of territory we're in. Muniz versus Vettori. Would love to see that.
Yeah. That's the sort of thing he should be doing. Right. Let's move on a little bit to... Okay, let's talk about...
Good Lord, what is happening?
Let's move on from this card. Let's go back to the main event of last week's card. Erin Blanchfield defeats Jessica Andrade by rear naked choke in round 2. Tom, you seem very passionate about this fight, very... wanting to dig into it further. What stood out to you most about this fight? Was it the performance of Blanchfield, or was it maybe the sort of, the results of Andrade rushing back into the cage? What was it that stood out to you most?
Yeah, it was certainly a strange decision for Andrade to step in here and take this fight. Now, she's got a reputation for it, and, she's a name. She's going in the Hall of Fame. Andrade has been all over women's MMA. I think she's got the most finishes? Is that?
Yeah. She's got the most finishes. I think she's even got the most fights as well. She's fought in all 3 divisions. Started at bantamweight, went down to strawweight, went up to flyweight, back down to strawweight, now just jumping between 2. I think she's ranked both at strawweight and flyweight at the same time. That's incredible.
Well, so help me understand the logic of taking this fight in the first place. I mean, going into the fight, she sat there high in the rankings, ranked 3, only Tyler Santos, Manon Fiorot ahead of her. Pretty close, one fight away from winning the shot, or she could have just kind of by default slipped in there, as we've seen so many times. A lot of people are already calling for a title fight, and she goes and accepts a fight on short notice 3 weeks after surely damaging her hand on Lauren Murphy's face. Such was the freedom with which she was able to strike her.
Yeah.
And she goes and takes somebody who was looking pretty good in Blanchfield.
Yes.
I don't understand it. Why take this fight?
I mean, she's just signed a new contract, so I'm guessing she's like, let me get one of those big fat paydays I've just signed up for. Give me that 300, Dana. Like, maybe that was part
300,000.
Maybe. Hold on, we don't get those numbers anymore. But
no,
let's just say it's
that would explain things.
Look, also, she's earned that. She definitely more than earns that sort of money with the fact that she's such a wrecking ball at women's MMA. Like, she's one of the few women's MMA fighters where it's just like, you tell casuals, put your biases aside, this woman owns. Like, she's so sick. And, you know, she deserves that. I think, I don't know what it is. Maybe she thought that if she got this in quickly, she could, like, slip in as maybe as an alternate to... No, hold on. Shevchenko Grasso's next week. What am I talking about? But maybe she could line herself up for a title fight and, like, definitely put her down as, like, I'm next. Tyler Santos pulled out of this. I'm next, no matter what. And now what we get from it is Blanchfield kind of should be next. Like, that's what we're getting from this.
Yeah, well, if that was her thinking, it has backfired in spectacular fashion. Like you said, she never really got going. Blanchfield really working her in the first round. Not going to say, like, damaging her, but certainly, I mean, by women's MMA standards, she was lighting her up and she wasn't eating much in return.
No.
Andrade just could not find the range. She was there, you know, throwing hands out there and there was no one to be found.
No, yeah.
Do you credit
Blanchfield's
motion from that, or are you kind of wondering what was up with Jessica?
No, I credit Blanchfield with this. I thought her footwork was actually pretty good. Like, the step up was there from someone who's such a grappler. You know, there were moments where, like, Andrade, like, wings, like, these huge shots that just went nowhere near, and it was, like, almost like Blanchfield sold her a dummy and sort of, like, went the other way and was, like, 90 degrees onto her. So I credit with Blanchfield with that, and there was some really good, like, blocking in the pocket and sort of, like, pushing through, and, you know, she ate some shots from Andrade, but because she was putting it on her, I think she was just tiring her out with this sort of pace. And then obviously going for that takedown at the end, you're like, okay, fair enough. She's trying to secure the round for herself here. If she gets the takedown, I think it would be slightly wasted energy, you know, like at the very end of the round. But what we found in the end was that was what she needed to give her the confidence in the second round to go for that takedown, enter into that space, take Andrade down and sub her. Andrade, though, debates the finish, claiming that because of the position and what had happened, she was distracted by the fact that her top was slipping out. She was worried that her breast was going to be shown on live television. I understand why she maybe didn't want that to happen. Eternal meme status awaits. Getting ridiculed a la Janet Jackson. Although we're in a different era now, so maybe she'd be praised for it. A much better... Yeah, we're in a much better era now, Tom, I've got to say. But she said herself, I should have just kept fighting no matter what. Like, I shouldn't have been distracted by that. That was a mistake on my end. I still give the credit to Blanchfield.
Yeah, I mean, that response certainly doesn't chime with Andrade's reputation as a killer.
No.
For her to be worried about that, put off by that.
Yeah.
Now, what this reminded me of, the actual finish itself, it was vibes of Brunson versus Cannonier. Now, hear me out. Brunson was rocked.
Yes.
The fog of war had descended.
Yeah.
Also known as, early potential signs of CTE.
Yeah.
And I saw that in Andrade here, in the way that Blanchfield was able to step over and assume the side control of the mount.
Side control. And then she let Andrade move away in that it allowed her then to attack the back from there. It was really clever grappling of just like, I'll give you this space because I know that's your only way out, and then I can enter to the back from there. And she was so, like, forceful in her movements of just, like, there wasn't like, oh, I'm going to see if I can sneak in. She's just like, I'm punching my hand through and I'm going to get the choke in. And, I mean, once she got the back, it was all over. Like, there was no way Andrade was coming back from there.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I do really question what was going on with Andrade, in allowing that position. As much as you have to respect Blanchfield, I think Andrade will be sick of watching that tape back and thinking, what was I doing?
Yeah.
But that's the reality we find now. Like you say, Blanchfield rockets her status, really to the top of the division.
She should be next. The winner of Shevchenko-Grasso, she should be next. Like, unless Grasso wins, then obviously there's the rematch there. But go on, Tom.
Well, no, Blanchfield, she has been recognised in the rankings. She climbed 7 places, taken Andrade's spot. She's number 3 now.
Absolutely earned. Totally earned.
Right, let's go. I mean, it seems early, but I've got to say the confidence of the woman, the cool assuredness of her.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of a bit exciting, Joe.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Interesting challenge for Shevchenko.
And also, a factor in this is that Shevchenko, on a tremendous run, but she has been taken down in every single fight she's had in the UFC. She's been taken down in every single fight. And once Blanchfield gets that takedown, if she gets that early, she gets it in that first round, confidence will be flowing. I think she could probably think that I don't know, man. Like, am I crazy for thinking off this fight that maybe Blanchfield's the one? She's the one to beat her?
Yeah, I really think that might be the case. I really think that it might be the case. It is still Shevchenko, so I'll give her that respect. But we are in the era of giant killing. Israel Adesanya, he's fallen. Kamaru Usman, he's gone. You know what I'm saying, Joe?
Yeah.
I don't think that era is over.
Nunes even lost her sheen.
Of course, the definitive example in women's MMA. Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, hold on. Ronda is the definitive one, isn't she? I mean,
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Different era. But yeah.
Thank God.
Ronda, a worse time, let's be honest. Let's talk about the rest of this card. 2 fights I just want to big up very quickly. Alexander Hernandez gets a decision win over Jim Miller. Jim Miller getting the first round for me, and then Hernandez coming back and winning round 2 and 3. Really nice stepping elbows from Hernandez. Nice bit of growth from the young man. Come on, Alex, mate. Get it together. You got a nice win here. Let's get you moving forward. Get you a nice challenge out there. You know what I'm about to say, Tom. You're getting fed to the Paddy. You're getting fed to Paddy Pimlet, mate. And you're getting smoked.
I mean, I like it. If I want the Paddy train to chug on a bit more, then I like the matchup. I mean, obviously, Hernandez still struggling to escape the shadow of his persona going into the Cowboy Cerrone fight.
The day drinking Donald punt. That day drinking Donald line was cracking. Like, let's be honest.
Oh, fantastic! But what's really fantastic is when you splice that together with what actually happened in the fight. He got worked, Joe. He got smoked, and obviously that's cast a long shadow over his career since then.
Yeah.
Gotta say, didn't see him overcoming Jim Miller, and got put in some positions in this fight where I thought, all right, that's it for you, son. But he came through. So credit to Hernandez. I would enjoy him fighting Paddy Pimblett. I think that could be a good time.
Yes. Jim Miller as well. Man's eternal. Love Jim Miller. And
UFC 300.
Bro, he deserves it. I mean, he was going into this fight. He was on a 3-fight win streak. I still think he's a guy you can face up and comers of get your debut. Let's see. Are you of any standard? No. Okay. There's been a couple guys who Jim Miller has faced where it's just like, oh, this young dog, he's excited and whatnot, and they face that that wall. Roosevelt Roberts, I'm looking at you. Eric Gonzalez, Nicholas Motta, off you go, mate.
Yeah, you're definitely right, Joe. Jim Miller is a test. He's a test. He's a credit to the sport, and let him get a spot on UFC 300.
Well, and also it was a test that Hernandez had to overcome. Like, he was down. Like, he lost that first round, and he came back and he adjusted, and he showed that he had some quality there. So, yes. And the other fight I just want to big up very quickly. Tom, unless you've got one you want to big up.
I'll come on to that. I think I know you want to talk about Nazim Sadikov here, so I'll let you run with it.
Nazim Sadikov beats Evan Elder by doctor stoppage, cut in the 3rd round. I mean, the Elder was annoyed, and I get it, rightfully so. Both these guys were 7-1 coming into this. Very well matched. I got to say, man, this was a hell of a lot of fun. Hell of a lot of fun. Elder forcing the action on Sadikov. Sadikov having to counter strike, and then eventually, once Elder dropped off the pace, Sadikov coming forward. Nice kicks to the body. Great hooks from these guys. Lovely step-in elbow as well from Sadikov. And, just a really good, solid, fun fight. I think both these guys are well matched. I think the doctor stoppage was fine. I would happily watch them run it back, but I don't really see much need for it, even if I did have it as being about 1-1 on the cards. So, yeah, I could happily watch this again. It's kind of like when Bobby Green fought Lando Venata for three times for some reason. Do you know what I mean? Like when they had their little series. I can happily watch these two again.
Yeah, well, you will get the chance to see them both individually and perhaps in a future matchup. They're definitely of a good tier. I expect more of them. I was surprised, actually, Elder. I thought, Nazim Sadikov. I saw the beard. I saw the record. Yeah. But Elder gave him a big test, and Sadikov kind of lucky that it was a leg kick, the knee off the kick, was it?
Yeah, it was
kind
a
of
knee
crazy.
Yeah.
Now, the fight I wanted to mention was another man with a Central Asian background, Hussein Ashkabov, 23-0, Joe.
Yeah.
Fighting at featherweight. Oof.
Yeah.
4 million Instagram subscribers.
Yeah.
4 million.
Yeah.
Actually, from Chechnya, I thought I was going to see.
Yes.
You're going to resurrection.
Yeah.
Christ himself.
What did we get?
Now, we got a man getting absolutely humbled by Jamal Emmers. In all aspects of the game, Emmers worked him.
Yeah.
On the feet, in the clinch, on the mat. Fantastic performance from Emmers. And Ashkabov found wanting. Now, Joe, that prompted you to do a bit of research into those 23 wins, Joe. What did you find on Hussein Ashkabov?
Well, I found that his record was quite interesting, particularly his first 7 fights. I mean, he got to 6-0. When he was 6-0, he fought a guy called Vitaly Maximov in a company called Pro FC Ukraine. And his opponent, Vitaly, was 0-3. And he continued this up until he was about 13-0. Like, when he was 12-0, he was fighting guys that were 2-2, 11-0, 0-1, 10-0, 1-0. Like, he had some padding in this record, I've got to say. Finally gets to 13-0, fights a guy who's 7-1, and we start to see a little bit of a uptick. But again, easy wins in there. Bruno Borges, when he was 17-0, fighting a guy who's 5-3. There was no there was padded records. It kind of reminded me of when Jordan Wright came into the UFC and he fought in that company that had Alimale McFarlane, the Bellator fighter, who fought the quote soccer mom. I'm sure you've seen that fight.
Oh dear.
Yeah, you know the one where the woman's just stood and as if she's waiting in line at the fucking supermarket, and Alimale's just on the other side looking like prime Vanderlei, ready to kill someone. So yeah, kind of reminded me of that.
Yeah, I think this is a bit like in South Korea they've got like the boy band factories.
Yes.
Where they you get recruited in, they give you the look,
you
get the clothing, and then they just play auto-tune and you get millions of fans.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Hopefully nobody ever actually asks you to sing a tune. You probably have a little word with the chat show, like there'll be no singing.
Yeah.
No, only talking. And okay. And I think that's what we're dealing with here, because him and his brother Hassan Ashkabov, another fantastic 22-2 record.
Wow.
Another 4 million.
Who did he lose to?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, credit to, I guess, the warlord in Chechnya that's making it all happen.
Well, he was 23-0, but he's been fighting for 11 years. 11 years he's been training and fighting, and it's like, I mean, that's bad. That was not an 11-year guy.
Joe, all I'm saying is last time out for Hassan Ashkabov, his opponent had a 12-13 record. So,
really? Oh my god, that's not good.
And that about wraps it up for my my opinions of our last Apex card and then our future Apex card. Then we look ahead What do we got in the news, Joe?
Let's talk about some fights that have been announced. Not officially announced from the UFC, but announced in the media. It's been set for May. Bantamweight title fight. Aljamain Sterling versus Henry Cejudo. With a co-main event of Beneil Dariush versus Charles Oliveira. My God, I hope that Dariush Oliveira fight is 5 rounds. Please let it be 5 rounds. My God. But Sterling versus Cejudo. It's funny when people are talking about, what if Cejudo stepped up to face Volkanovski? I don't think there's anyone asking for that now, is there? Like, Gordon Bennett, there is no fight there, is there? And I don't think even Cejudo's talking about it anymore. Like, I think he's got a bit of sense to just ignore that one.
Now, Joe, wait, let me jump right in.
Yeah.
Does this fight make sense? Isn't it similar territory? Am I disrespecting Henry Cejudo, or am I just...
You're saying it should be Sean O'Malley?
I'm saying, I think Aljamain might be a bit ahead, you know. I think...
Really?
I'm not saying it's like as disproportionate a matchup as Volkanovski and Cejudo would be, but I think Sterling's done enough to make me favour him versus a man who's been out of the sport. Is this questionable?
Is this reminding you of Cejudo versus Cruz?
I guess so.
Yeah,
I guess so.
It's an odd one, isn't it? Because I'm not mad about Cejudo getting the shot. Like, it's fine by me. I think this is going to be Sterling's last fight at bantamweight before moving up. Which, again then, is he just going to again move up into a title fight? Because surely he must move up into a title fight. Like, you defended the bantamweight title 3 times. The best division in the sport right now. And what, you're not going to get a title fight? But where's that going to fit in? I mean, I guess the fact is that Aljamain doesn't fight that often. But then what, is he going to slip ahead of Arnold Allen if he beats Max Holloway?
Oh, God.
Sterling must be praying for a Max Holloway win. He must be praying Max Holloway beats Arnold Allen so he could slip in later this year, early next year for a fight against Volkanovski.
I cannot understand the mentality of anyone who craves a fight with Alexander Volkanovski, but fair play to him if that's what he wants. I mean, he wants the big fights. Now, with that in mind, Joe, I just can't see him passing up Sean O'Malley. I just can't see
what, the ease of that fight, you think? Yeah,
I mean, surely he's got to look at it like that. He's got to look at O'Malley and think, oh, good Lord.
Money fight.
It ticks all the boxes. Money fight, a man, with a striking pedigree, who Sterling's going to outmuscle, take out, ground out, and he's got to expect a finish against O'Malley, isn't he?
Yeah, he'd want to make that name as well off of that. I mean, you could do Sterling versus O'Malley later this year, maybe October time, co-main event in Abu Dhabi, perhaps.
O'Malley's Aljamain Sterling, I'm calling for it.
Yeah, that's the easy. I asked for the easiest fight in the division, and I asked for Ryan Bader. No, he asked for... He said... it makes sense. You've got the biggest money fight possible, but then what if O'Malley wins, though, and you go up to featherweight on a loss? Kind of like when RDA went up to welterweight, isn't it? He was the champ, going up off a loss off Eddie Alvarez. Could be a hard road at featherweight as well, because you're not going to be the bigger man. And you'd be facing guys like, Ilia Topuria, Bryce Mitchell,
If you were going to rank Sterling yourself at featherweight right now, just where does he slot in? He's below Arnold Allen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, below Arnold
he's above
Allen.
Josh Emmett.
Yeah, I'd rank him there. I mean, would you favour him over Brian Ortega? Ooh, that's tantalising.
Well, that is tantalising. I like the thought of that fight.
Do you actually want Cejudo to win? Because Cejudo versus O'Malley would be funnier.
It certainly would. I mean, if Henry Cejudo comes back and wins this, he's given me enough time to start doubting him again. I was in a default position of doubting him throughout all his wins, to be honest. So I do love a man who comes through all that.
Yeah,
it would be really something. No, I mean, now you mentioned that possibility.
Yeah.
I guess I am all right with the coming in, because I was a little bit. I'll say, Joe, when I had this matchup, I was a little bit underwhelmed, just because bantamweight is so hot right now.
Absolutely. And by the way, I was just looking at the featherweight rankings. So you've got Arnold Allen at 4, then you've got Josh Emmett at 5, Zombie at 6, Cater at 7, Chikadze at 8, and then at 9 you've got Topuria and Evloev at 10. Those two must be looking at that as just like, I'm going to chop down one of those lads as soon as I can. Like, give me Josh Emmett now. Like, give me him yesterday. Like, they must be like licking their lips at that.
Have you seen the GIF that's been doing the rounds over the last couple of days of a pack of lionesses, and they're all sat above this warthog hole, and the warthog is in the hole looking up, thinking, "Oh Lord."
Oh really?
And what I'm saying is, Topuria and Evloev are those lionesses,
right?
And the warthog is Chan Sung Jung.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't think he wants to face that. As for Dariush versus Oliveira, tremendous. We talked about it before.
Fantastic.
Very much into it. Lastly, a week after set, in a main event, Jairzinho Rosenstruck is back and he's facing Jailton Almeida. Oh my word. Poor Rosenstruck. Talk about, never mind the lioness with the warthog. This is the anaconda with the deer. Like, this is like absolutely dunzo, isn't it? Like, there's no, I said deer, a gazelle. Like, sorry, I'm not Attenborough, but you know what I mean. You can see him just devouring Rosenstruck, can't you?
Yeah, it sounds a lot like that. Sounds like easy matchup.
Yeah.
There was one other fight made at heavyweight. There's a little bit more consequential for the title picture.
Yeah.
I don't think we talked about it live on the mic, but you got Curtis Blades. He's fighting Sergey Pavlovich.
Is he?
He is, Joe.
Oh.
Also known as the White Ngannou. In some
yeah. I mean, if it goes past a minute, I'm favouring Blades. That's my stance. If it finishes in under a minute, I know what's happened.
Blades has got form for shooting around the minute mark and meeting an uppercut on the way in. I think that is certainly something that could very much happen here. I think it's a great matchup. Great.
When's it set for?
That is beyond me, Joe.
All right, fair enough. Now, Tom, I've got a question for you. We've got two of the biggest stars coming back this year. I saw this on MMA Fighting, and I thought it was quite a good question, so I wanted to pose it to you. We've got two of the biggest stars coming back this year. And I've got a very simple question.
Bones and McGregor.
Bones and McGregor. Jon Jones is back next week. Conor McGregor is back later this year. Simple question. Out of those two, who has more to lose?
Bones.
Really?
Yeah. Bones. Yeah.
Really? Why?
He's the GOAT.
Oh, you're just saying it.
He's the GOAT. I'm just saying it. It's been doing the rounds lately.
You've always had an issue with GSP, and I don't know what it is.
It's the Johnny Hendricks fight.
What, the fight he clearly won? But okay. We should do a watch along of that fight.
Perhaps we should.
Yeah.
It's also the Bisping win, the way he came back, he dodged Tyron, who seemed to be a tough matchup at the time.
And then he didn't defend it against Whittaker.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Absolutely, Joe. That sticks in the mind. Whereas
Whittaker versus GSP, my God.
I mean, I know. He also deprived us of that. You know, that was a little bit weak coming back for Bisping.
All right. Anyway,
moment of time. Come on.
Okay, fine.
Bones is the go. Bones is the go. Bones is the go. I'm just saying it. All right, and he is.
I think Fatal.
Yeah.
Oh, he's daring to be great.
He's been flirting with this heavyweight. He's been flirting with this for God knows how many years now.
Oh, someone posted this. I think it's 11 years. I think Kane was champion, and he was teasing it.
All right, and what about if after all those 11 years he finally does it and he gets absolutely smoked? Finished in a minute. But come on, Joe. What would that do for Jones's position in the GOAT discussion?
I think
once that happens, you're then like, all right, Dom Reyes, Thiago Santos. You start totting these things up. The whole thing outside the ring.
Yeah.
Conor's already fallen so far.
But the thing with Conor, though, is that, like, if he loses to Michael Chandler, like, that is, you know, I love Chandler. We love Chandler on this podcast. He's one of our favourites. We love Michael Chandler. But Conor, in terms of, like, I'm the biggest star, I sell the most pay-per-views. He loses to Michael Chandler after losing twice to Poirier, losing to Khabib. We're not talking about that cowboy fight. That was not a fight. That was a promotional tool for his next fight. That wasn't a fight at all. You know, the nonsense with Mayweather, not fighting, never defending a belt. I think,
but
and then
he's already He's already in that position. He's what you've just said. I've already written him off. You just confirmed it to me. You just tot all those things up.
Fair enough.
Does it like are we talking about? Is there any legacy? Does McGregor have a legacy now? Does he have?
Well, it's interesting that you say that, because one of the arguments that they made on MMA fighting was, you know, when he beat Alvarez, like a couple months after, if you did a list of like the 20 greatest fighters in the history of the UFC, would McGregor have been in the top 10?
Yeah,
probably. Beat Mendes, Aldo.
Yeah, he would.
Yeah.
Unified the two belts, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, also the fashion in which he put away Alvarez in the division above.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, Joe. If
Flawless.
Aljamain Sterling goes up and does that to Volkanovski.
Well, Volkanovski to Alvarez is not a one-to-one comparison, but still.
No, I will acknowledge that.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, his standing has fallen, because, like, if you did a top 50 UFC fighters of all time, McGregor would he be in that list?
We're talking about like skill for skill,
all time skill for skill, achievements, everything. He'd make your top 50.
You start to consider the star status, what he built from that. You know, the whole. All the nonsense that's gone along with it, and of course his name is
but he has so many asterisks. He has so many asterisks, and I guess what you're saying with Bones is that if he loses to Gane, those asterisks are confirmed, whereas now it's kind of like, well, he hasn't lost really, so...
Joe, let me introduce one more thing about Johnny Bones Jones.
Yeah.
Now, one of those asterisks is the PEDs.
Yes.
All right, there has been a notable drop-off in Jon Jones since USADA became the machine that we see it is today. Now, we all know about hiding under the ring.
Yes, which he confirmed, which is mental that he did that, but go on.
Well, that's how hot he felt, you know, in that moment. That's how assured he was. But then...
Well, hold on, no, he did that after getting into a Twitter spat with Adesanya. And he got into a Twitter spat with a guy who's clearly much better at the internet than him. Should never have gotten in there. Never gotten in there with him. Anyway, continue.
Well, yeah, it's basically that then it's like, okay, with the greater spotlight shone on his use of PEDs, he then comes back, steps up a weight division after a 3-year layoff, and puts away Cyril Gane. Oh my Lord, amazing. He loses to Cyril Gane, confirming his deficiency without that level of PED support that he perhaps had been receiving. And you consider how he looked against Thiago Santos and Dom Reyes.
Yeah.
I think Jones has got a lot to lose. And, you know, I'm really excited about that fight. I am excited about that fight.
Yeah. Yeah, there's so
more
many...
excited than Chandler McGregor.
Okay. Fair enough.
Am I alone in that?
No, what, you mean more excited than that? Well, also it's next week. So yeah, you should be more excited for it than Chandler McGregor. But if overall you could only watch one, it's probably going to be Jones Gane, isn't it?
I hope so. The day that I say McGregor Chandler, I think
come on, man. It's going to be so much fun. It's going to be so much fun.
It is. But we are, you know, we're aficionados. We play a bit of the hype game, Joe, but we're realists here on Hold On, I'm Talking Brother.
Absolutely. Anyway, listeners, we'll be back next week to preview UFC 285, which is headlined by Jon Jones versus Cyril Gane for the vacant heavyweight title, with a co-main event of Valentina Shevchenko versus Alexa Grasso. Listeners, I'm going to ask for it in the comments of this pod. Leave your predictions of what you think is going to happen in that fight. And any interesting ones, which I'm sure will be all of them, we will read out next week and break down further. Tom, thank you so much for joining me this week.
Thank you, Joe.
And listeners, thank you so much for joining us. You can contact us at holdonbrother69@gmail.com. Like, subscribe, leave a comment, leave a review, all that good stuff. Spread the word like an STD through a British secondary school.
Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everyone. Have a nice night.